Garnacho to Chelsea advances. Newcastle United believe they're close to an agreement for Benjamin Sesko after given encouragement from the player. But what is the latest on that? Has he chosen Newcastle United, or is it another article of guesswork? We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about everything involving Benjamin Sesko, which is getting really incredibly boring. But this is your 10-minute roundup, and I'm going to tell you everything that's been said from credible sources on Benjamin Sesko and round it up as quick as I can so you are up to date with everything. And then we're going to talk about Manchester United's midfield plans, because midfield for me, it's a position that cannot be ignored. It's a very key position. And yeah, so let's get into the 10-minute roundup. If you do enjoy today's video, feel free to hit the like button and of course subscribe down below if you're new. And let's get into it. We're going to start with the Garnacho news because I'm fed up of talking about Benjamin Sesko, and then we will get into the Cesco news. So starting with Garnacho, Fabrizio Romano has confirmed that clubs are calling from Germany, Italy, Saudi Arabia, but Alejandro Garnacho wants Chelsea and is waiting patiently for Chelsea. I think Chelsea have been speaking to him for a while. I think the fact that he's rejected so many clubs when he knows he hasn't got a place back at United and he knows it's a World Cup year, says that he's confident that Chelsea are going to make their move, and Chelsea are advancing on the personal side to sign Alejandro Garnacho. Other sources like Sky did confirm that Chelsea are in talks to sign Garnacho and Xavi Simons. Discussions for both have been ongoing. They're aiming to sign both before the window closes. It's not massive updates. It's just Garnacho is there. He's waiting for Chelsea. We just got to wait until something actually happens, until there is terms agreed, until there is a breakthrough. I feel like this window's a waiting game. We knew we'd get Mbeumo, but we had to wait 6 weeks for the breakthrough. We're now waiting on Cesco to make a decision, but we've been told one story, then another story, then another story. And we know that Garnacho is probably going to go to Chelsea. We're just waiting on that. What we want to know is midfield, and we're going to talk about that in a second. But let's get into the news on Benjamin Sesko. Now, Craig Hope is a credible journalist that is briefed by Newcastle United. Is probably one of their best journalists in the space. And he said, exclusive, Newcastle are tonight pushing hard to agree a deal with RB Leipzig for Benjamin Sesko. After encouragement today, he wants to join. So, everybody's taking that headline. He wants to go to Newcastle. Cool. Bish, bash, bosh. However, context. It's not known what his camp have communicated to Man United at all, but Newcastle moving quickly. He's given, for me, I think Benjamin Sesko's agent is playing a game where he's giving Manchester United's camp positive communication. He's giving Newcastle's camp positive communication. He's making everyone happy. We know Benjamin Sesko's agent from Arsenal last year. He's a bit of a player, and they take their time, and it's one of those situations. But I think Academy Scoop gives really good context to everything. And I think it's good to read the articles because, again, this is from both sides. Some sources will say, he prefers Manchester United. But at the end of the day, he's not chosen between Manchester United and Newcastle. He's given encouragement to Newcastle's camp. But United apparently preparing the bid, and maybe he's given encouragement to Man United's camp. But as Academy Scoop says here, I'd suggest reading the full article. The actual takeaway is more Newcastle pushing to agree a deal with Leipzig after encouragement that he hasn't rejected them. Rather than he's chosen them, it's just encouragement he's not rejected them, rather than he's decided to join Newcastle. So ultimately, it's not big news. Has he given the green light? Does he want Newcastle? Maybe. Would I be shocked if he went to Newcastle? Not at all. The media keeps saying, oh, he prefers Man United, he prefers Manchester United, but I honestly wouldn't be shocked if he went to Newcastle. Newcastle pushing for a move. Craig Hope is a very good journalist, and I think that Newcastle wouldn't be making bids or wouldn't be pushing for the player without encouragement on the player's side. The question is, has Cesco told Man United no in Newcastle yet, or is his agent leading both clubs on and telling both clubs he wants them, which is something Cesco's agent is known to do? That's the big question. If I was going to be totally honest, we'll have to wait and see what Romano or Ornstein say. But look, he's a very good journalist, Craig Hope. Newcastle have confidence. Of course, they made bids for players like João Pedro and Ekitike and didn't get them. But look, I wouldn't be shocked if Benjamin Sesko chose Newcastle. I think Newcastle are pushing for him more. Newcastle are putting bids in. Newcastle are willing to pay more to get him. I wouldn't be shocked. Let's see how it develops. But look, as of now, we could be choosing Newcastle. But Craig Hope said he doesn't know what he's told Man United. Continuing on into some more stories on Benjamin Sesko, what has come out? Because Man United are apparently planning a bid. Now, Manchester United have said they won't make a bid unless they get encouragement or the green light from Sesko. Newcastle are making bids, they're doing their work, but Manchester United's sort of mindset is, we're not going to make a bid unless we get encouragement from Cesco. I mean, not encouragement, like an actual agreement with Cesco. Whereas Newcastle got encouragement, they're making a bid. Manchester United actually want some kind of agreement from Cesco to make a bid. Now, there's talk right now that Manchester United are planning on making a formal offer to RB Leipzig for Benjamin Sesko in the coming days, which they wouldn't do unless they get some kind of verbal agreement with Sesko. The Mbeumo deal was a difficult one, but because we managed to get Mbeumo deal paid across multiple years, we have maybe funds to do Sesko. That's sort of the situation there. So if Man United are planning a bid, then Benjamin Sesko must have some kind of verbal agreement with Man United, because unlike Newcastle, we're saying we want some kind of agreement with Sesko before making a bid. Now, what if United verbally informed Leipzig? So Manchester United apparently have told Leipzig that if they reach an agreement with Cesco, they will make a basically a £70 million bid. Apparently, we're planning a bid. Now, this has come out. Apparently, we're planning a bid according to Pete Hall. Maybe United are confident of reaching an agreement for Cesco. We'll have to wait and see, because Newcastle United are confident. Man United are confident. I think Cesco's agent could be stringing everyone along. Newcastle expect an answer from Cesco in the next 48 hours, and this was said about 8 hours ago, if he wants to join them. Manchester United are still in the mix for Cesco, with Leipzig awaiting a formal offer. I do think if you're Benjamin Cesco and you're unsure and Newcastle are making the bids while United aren't, potentially I look at it and I go, maybe he might look at Newcastle because he knows that Newcastle can get the deal done, wrapped off like that. Do you know what I mean? Newcastle can get the deal done, wrapped up like that, whereas United are going to take time. We'll have to wait and see. But the decision is expected soon, but it's taken a long time, and Cesco's known for taking a long time. He took 3 weeks to make a decision between Arsenal and Leipzig and ended up choosing Leipzig to stay there last year. Benjamin Cesco's considering multiple things. His career. I mean, Newcastle aren't having a good transfer window. Nobody knows what the club's ceiling is right now, but right now they're more stable than Man United, so probably Newcastle beat some career. His life, you're going to be bigger and more famous and get more money if you go to Man United. European football, that's Newcastle United. Money, apparently Newcastle United are willing to give him more money than us, but we could probably be able to give him more money if we wanted. And the manager he'd play under, he'd probably pick Eddie Howe as of now, because Ruben Amorim's done great things at Sporting, but not at United, but Eddie Howe has done it at Newcastle United. So I can see why it's a 50-50. Like, some Man United fans are really confident they're going to get him. I honestly think it is a 50-50. Anyway, continuing into some more news. Andy Mitten, a Good United journalist, said on Cesco, if he's got a burning desire to join Newcastle, fine, but I've never led to believe that's the case. Even when Newcastle made a bid, I never thought the deal was done at all. Andy Mitten, a United journalist, doesn't think that these Newcastle bids mean much. He doesn't have a burning desire to join Newcastle. He's very much undecided. Laurie Whitwell also said that Newcastle made a bid putting pressure on the player, again, trying to convince the player to join them by making a bid. If they get Leipzig's approval, they may tell Cesco it's either Newcastle or he stays, potentially, if Man United cannot get Leipzig's approval. Manchester United want to first secure Cesco's commitment before making a bid, because they know that can get the price down if Newcastle United walk away. Man United don't want to bid as much as Newcastle, so if they get Cesco to reject Newcastle and say it only wants Man United, we can get the price down. I don't know if Cesco's able to do that, but we want to secure Cesco's commitment. We're negotiating with Leipzig, similar to Mbeumo. I think Leipzig would rather sell to Newcastle, because Newcastle will give them what they want, and adios, we're going to drag this on, we're going to try and get the price down. I think that's the situation. But Leipzig are demanding €80 million for Cesco. And apparently set a deadline, but he favours Man United slightly. Reports are still coming out saying he favours Man United slightly. I just think people are guessing. I don't think anyone knows. I honestly think people are guessing, and I think he's going to make a decision soon, to be totally honest. Romano said in the last 3 days, Saturday, Sunday, Monday morning, United were offered the possibility to get Vlahovic, but we are focused on Benjamin Cesco. I don't particularly want Vlahovic. I like Cesco. I don't like the price tag, but I like the player. But let's talk about midfield, because if we don't get Cesco, I'm honestly all for, I want a striker, don't get me wrong, but I'm all for spending a bit of money in midfield. And Laurie Whitwell has given a midfield update. Midfield was the target at the start of the window, but it depends on outgoings. If Casemiro's still here, he doesn't look like he's going to Saudi, he's on high wages, it makes it difficult. Ericsson has gone, so we probably do need someone coming in, but we're not in Europe next season. Amorim wants an athletic number 6/8 with a focus on ball winning and physicality, which is great, but I also think we need someone that is quite good at actually playing out and build up, because the guy is a pressing trigger and giving away the ball. We need somebody that's a bit better than Agate on the ball. Hence why I'm not the biggest fan of Edison. I'd rather someone like Baleba that is physical, but he can take care of the ball better. Agate is a current option, but this tendency to give the ball away is a concern in the Premier League. And if Agate doesn't improve, United could revisit the market for a defensive midfielder as the window develops. So he's saying we could revisit the market for defensive midfielder as the window develops. He's saying outgoings will play a part. If we sell Garnacho for good money, potentially that can help as well. If Agate doesn't improve, we will revisit the window. I just don't know if we're convinced on Agate. I think he was good the first 2 preseason games. I thought he was atrocious yesterday. For me, I think we need a midfielder. I think we're looking at a midfielder. I just don't know what kind of midfielder we will get. Anyway, thank you for watching. Let me know your thoughts down below. See you next time. Bye.